I'm Sari Kimbell, and as she mentioned, I have Sari Kimbell Consulting and Food Business Success. I've been helping packaged food business entrepreneurs for, I'm going into 5 years now, or in my fifth year. Um, this topic is really near and dear to my heart. Before I worked for Whole Foods Market as a buyer and onboarding local producers and helping them get off the shelves into people's carts. I actually started my food business career at a farm, and I was selling wholesale into grocery stores and local restaurants in Colorado. I'm actually based in Colorado. Um, but it was really about promoting hyper-local access to local food. I also stepped up to manage the farm's CSA program, Community Supported Agriculture, and grew that membership to 5,000 members before I left to go to Whole Foods. So it was a time, 2009, where books like Omnivore's Dilemma and Animal Vegetable Miracle and Food Inc. were all coming out, and there was this awakening around local food. And I do feel like there are some great similarities and ways that maybe there is a second awakening around local food. So I want to jump in and talk about three ways that you might want to consider getting involved with your brand, going into a hyper local state of mind, and maybe adding this to your sales channel mix, and ways of increasing your cash flow and also serving your community. So I like to call it the triple win when we talk about hyperlocal. It really is a win around you as the producer, of course, bringing in sales, and you get the best margins with direct to consumer. And then of course your customer is winning because they're getting an amazing product and they love that extra value that they're getting of supporting a local business and getting a really great product. And then, of course, serving your community, keeping dollars inside the community. It just really, I think, is such a great cycle that reinforces itself. So I know sometimes I get some flack about, should you be selling at this time? But I want to tell you that customers are hungry, pun intended, for your products. They want to support local businesses, and over 50% of food dollars went from eating out to now eating in. And so they're looking for other options. And so I think this is a great strategy to consider. I know a lot of times, depending on where you are in your business, some people start at a farmer's market, and that may be where you're at. But a lot of times people have big goals to get on Amazon or to get into Whole Foods or those big grocery stores. But even if that's what your sights are set on, you may want to consider this hyperlocal strategy, adding this into your mix, even if you want to go really big with your brand. So let's talk about the opportunities. I really see three sales channels to look into. So the first one, of course, is farmers markets. And I'm going to give you an update on where things are at right now in the US in general, but I've also educated myself on the Boston area. Direct to consumer delivery models. We are seeing a ton of these start to emerge. Constraint is the mother of creativity. And so we're seeing a lot of great models coming out of this current time to get local food to the people. And then also looking at, not just having your sights on the big grocery stores, but maybe turning towards really supporting independent retailers in this time. All right, so let's talk about farmers markets first. In most states, it's state driven, but farmers markets are considered essential. They are food related. Most of them are only going to allow food products. So obviously farmers, meat producers, and packaged food. So you're not going to see jewelry makers and candle makers and things like that there this year, most likely. It is not meant to be a social event. It is meant to be a food access point. So markets have to follow all the guidelines. They're implementing traffic control, distancing, of course, hand washing stations, masks, and a big change that has deterred some packaged food producers is no sampling. So I have an idea around that to share with you. But I want you to consider that farmers markets are actually a really critical access point for low income families, people on SNAP or formerly, food stamps. And the government has actually increased SNAP benefits by 40% during this time. So you can use, people can use SNAP dollars on all food products, not just raw fruits and vegetables. And a lot of farmers markets actually have matching programs that really even increase the power of their dollar. So farmers markets can actually be a great place for lower income families to find local food. So that might be something just to kind of keep in mind. What we're seeing in across the country with farmers markets that are open right now is that while foot traffic is down, sales are way up. People are buying more. They want to support local businesses. So lots of reports about people selling out. People are more willing to buy products untasted. And they just have there's that community piece about wanting to really support local businesses. A lot of markets we're seeing, and I should just mention, I actually own a farmer's market on top of all of the other things. So I'm very like dug entrenched in the farmer's market world. But we are seeing farmers markets go to online, like virtual farmers markets where you can pre-order or you can pre-order from specific vendors and then they have your product ready to go. So they're even doing, some are doing car delivery, car drop off, so you can prepay and make it a lot safer for everyone. But there is kind of this thought of like, even though it's not a social event, it is outdoors and there is, it feels maybe a little bit safer than going into the grocery store. Um, and the biggest question I get for packaged food producers is, if I can't sample my product, and maybe I'm a brand new brand, how am I going to get, the word out to people? How am I going to actually have sales? And what I've been suggesting to people is that you actually partner up with a companion product and see if you can't grow awareness that way. So, for example, I have a compound butter client, and we were going to launch this year at the farmers markets, and they were really concerned that like you need to put the butter on a steak to have it to try it, right, to sample it. So we're actually making little miniature, like mini samples of their butter. And we're working with local beef producers who come to the farmers market to then put a sample inside the customer's purchase with some marketing materials as a way for people to try it at home and then potentially come back um, and buy it online or find other access points. So that might be something you consider. You can also do, a lot of markets are just doing a virtual farmers market option. So you don't necessarily have to go and stand for 4 hours. So that might be another option too. You'd still have to pay like all the fees and application fees and everything to just do the virtual market, but it might be a good option. So don't discount farmers markets. They are happening. People are excited to get out and be outside and support local producers. All right, so the next one is we're seeing a lot of people wanting contactless delivery, right? Like Instacart just like blew up during this time, and all of a sudden we went from people being fairly unwilling to order groceries online. We like to go to grocery stores and pick out our products, to now people are being they have adopted it completely. And so we're seeing a lot of models where maybe they were already existing models or brand new pop-up models coming up. So this is one located in the Boston area, Market Today. They're an established system, but they are growing. And so it might be a place that you look at listing your products online. We're seeing food hubs that are expanding, they're aggregating more products, offering more deliveries, going to large, bigger zones of delivery. Also, farms and CSA models, as farms try to replace food service dollars that they lost. Um, that they are going, they're pivoting, they're adding delivery components, they're aggregating more products. Some other examples are like Market Mobile is typically, and that's in the Boston area, is typically a wholesale platform only, but they have opened that up to consumers. And so they're also doing delivery. And locally here for me in Colorado, same thing. We have a local distributor has allowed consumers now to order directly from their catalog and get case pack sizes of things and get them delivered. Last, but certainly not least, you might look into, it seems a little archaic, but a little old school, but milk delivery services might be another option to look at submitting your products to. Um, we in Colorado, where I'm at, I know there are at least two that do actual like door milk delivery services, and they both offer a full catalog of other local products. So, might be an interesting experiment to check that out and see if that might be an option. And then we're also seeing individual vendors like really get experimental and entrepreneurial. At my market is actually a winter farmers market, and I had to cancel the last three dates starting in March. And two of my producers actually basically started their own virtual farmers markets, and now it's grown. So we're seeing these kind of ad hoc food hubs, local delivery systems, pop up virtual markets. So rather than being owned by an actual farmers market, this could be you starting your own virtual farmers market. So Alex and Christy started this NoCo Farmers Market. Now we actually have a new one, SoCo Farmers Market. And you can see here, they're just Facebook groups, and they have over almost 8,000 members. SoCo has 4,600 members. Um, there's definitely a lot to figure out, and they've had a lot of growing pains with 7,000 people interested, and they've found that they can only deliver and have pickup for about 250. But still, 250 deliveries and pickups a week is pretty awesome. Uh, and then Erica here has a bakery. She was doing some delivery to direct to consumer, but a lot of it was food service and farmers markets. So when I had to cancel the market, she basically opened up her website, her e-commerce website, to other producers and started adding their products to her normal delivery days. She's since evolved it to now the 100-mile market. And she had to hire a delivery driver. It is just blown up. Like I said, your community is looking for access to local food and they want it delivered. So these people are providing exactly what your community wants. Just phenomenal examples of vendors, producers just like yourselves who are leading the charge and kind of trying to figure it out. Not to say that there wouldn't be a lot of things to figure out, but it is doable. And then independent retailers. So I love this photo. This is from a market in Fort Collins called Beavers Market. It's from the 70s. But I put it here because I thought it was a great representation, though, that I worked for Whole Foods Market for 4.5 years, and even pre-Amazon, at one point we were able to, in the early days, a vendor could like drop off a sample and a buyer could be like, yeah, let's put that on the shelf. Sure, bring me a case. Not anymore. It doesn't work that way in large grocery. But with smaller independent retailers, they are able to be much more nimble. They're able to pivot. They're able to move product around, make shelf space. They want new products, and especially during this time where They might be getting shortages from other distributors. Going in and you bringing in your product might be, exactly what they're looking for. So these are some examples, both in in the Boston area as well as where I'm at in Colorado. But local retailers, it is part of their business model often to support other local producers. Like I said, they can pivot much quicker. They can bring in product much quicker. There's not category review schedules and discontinue, they have to discontinue old items and have planograms and all of these things. So um, allowing the other thing that you can get ahead of is you bring in your product, you do the self distribution, you stock the product, like you're helping them. You want to make it really easy for markets to say yes, to give you a retail space. um, so I want you to think about with independent retailers, how can you provide value and a great return on investment for them. um, but they want to support you. It can be a great win-win. So definitely check into local independent retailers, and if you don't already have relationships with them, start building those relationships. It could be a great sales channel for you right now. Okay, so to wrap up, why local matters. People, we are seeing breakdowns in our food supply and our food chain, kind of. So the local food system is becoming more and more important. And like I said at the beginning, I do think that there is a kind of a consumer reawakening about the importance of our local food system. It's not just the diehard farmers market people who have always supported it. But in the example with Erica with the 100 Mile Market, she's seen people who never attended the farmers market all of a sudden being really interested in local food. So it does definitely offers some certainty and security. It feels really good, right? It's like that win-win where I'm not just paying for a loaf of bread. My loaf of this money is going towards my community and a local producer. It builds that sense of community and, of course, supports our local economies, specifically you as a producer, to help you with your sales and your cash flow, so that you can turn around and grow and buy more local inputs, hire more people. It's really a great cycle.